Dispatch is launching on February 24th, 12 o'clock noon Pacific time. And if you show up live, you will be eligible to win a 10K dump trailer, a 5K website, and 5K in marketing materials. Welcome to another episode of the Blue Crocus Experience. This one's a bit different, but kind of the same. We're revisiting another guest. We're also going live in the groups to announce some really cool stuff. So Andrew Thompson's in the house. We're just getting our group stuff figured out here to make sure it's all live.
What's up, guys? What's up, Anthony?
Andrew, this is going to be fun. February is a massive month for both of us.
Yep.
We're both counting down to the 24th. So let's give people a little taste of what the 24th is about right off, and then we'll dive into your background.
Yeah, man. So thank you for having me, Lewis. I think it's been about a year now since you first interviewed me.
Yeah.
And I was a year into my junk removal journey, and I was, all over YouTube, made $1 million, gross sales. We'll talk about that stuff later. Big difference. But yeah, February 24th is an exciting time. I have been talking about this event for the last month straight. I'm assuming most of you have seen it by now. If not, you'll hear more about it later. But February 24th is a live virtual streaming event, which will be on YouTube and Facebook. And it's going to be a software announcement for my software, which we'll get into. But I wanted to make it more than that. I wanted to do giveaways and, just talk junk and, give a lot of value and give away $20,000 of stuff, which we are actually giving away. But the live virtual event is really to announce my entry into the junk removal software game and really just kind of compete with the big guys out there, Jobber, House Call Pro, really try to change things and really disrupt the industry, because I think not only can the software be innovated, I also think it can be drastically cheaper. I don't think it needs to be the price it needs to be. I don't think it should be $169 to $250 a month for scheduling software. Plus, along with innovative things that I want to add, and we'll talk about that at the event. But on top of that software announcement, we're going to be giving away no catch, no gimmicks. I am literally going to give away a $10,000 dump trailer live. I'm going to raffle it using StreamYard, and it'll rotate through the people who are in the comments, long as they put.
Did you figure that out?
I figured it out this morning.
Amazing.
Super fun. Amazing. It's like a slot machine spinner, and it spins through their avatar and their name, and it slows down, and it's just it's so doing that
and have us all on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, dude, it was we did a test this morning, and I was on the edge of my seat with just the test, with not giving anything away. So we're giving away a $10,000 dump trailer, no catch. You have to be in the US. A couple people in Canada asked. I'd love to try that, but I just don't want to risk the border.
The cross-border. You'd lose the whole value of the gift right there.
Yeah, so with that being said, if you're in the US, I will drive it out to you that week. I don't care if you're in New York and it's a blizzard. I'm going to drive, because it will make for a very fun video, a road trip video to upload to my YouTube channel and give it away to somebody. And then also, which we'll talk about more, you are participating. I know you got some announcements. I asked you to join me on this event to be a part of this giveaway. And I know you're going to be announcing some stuff, but you're also giving away a full-on website with, I don't know how many pages, but I think yeah. So the big daddy package. Matt Fitch from Junk Blitz Pro, he's giving away $5,000 in marketing materials. I'm talking hundreds of yard signs, hundreds of door hangers, hundreds of business cards, hundreds of pamphlets, and he's shipping it to you and designing it at no cost. So we are literally, with no catch, giving away $20,000 of stuff. And this is all hype. I'm trying to build hype. There is an end goal here. I want people to check out the software. I want people to trust me and be like, holy shit, Andrew, Lewis, and Matt are giving away all this stuff. I'll give his software a chance. And I do want to say one thing. I am going into alpha/beta. So this is going to be the very first version. We're only going to let in a few people every week or so until we get to the public version in July. So we're going to be bug testing for 4 months. I don't want people who are running $1 million operation to come try my software. I want them to wait until July. I want the solopreneurs, the owner operators. I want the startup guys who are frustrated and don't want to pay $170 a month for good quality software. With that being said, that is the virtual event. There is an in-person event too, and a handful of people are flying out, which is mind-blowing, Lewis.
Crazy. So exciting.
A ton of people are flying out. We got Matt Fitch, Matt and JoJo, Ricardo from Junk Guys, the OG 16-year guy on YouTube, Steezy's flying out, Clutter Reduction's flying out, countless other people are flying out and driving in from Arizona. I have 120 people RSVP'd for in-person, which I'm not kidding, Lewis. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get 1,000 to 2,000 people for the live virtual event. And I was like, maybe the local companies in San Diego and LA will drive to come do the meetup. I was expecting 10, 15 tops.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting people to fly in. So the in-person event is the same day at 5 p.m. And since people decided to fly in, I decided to throw in a mastermind breakfast the next morning. So we're going to do a walk on the beach in Venice, do the whole like beach walk. It's going to be a little chilly, you know, in the morning. So bring a jacket, and then we're going to go do a mastermind breakfast, and should
Chilly
be really
compared
fun.
to what? Yeah,
Oh, and somebody's asking, where's it located? This is going to be in Los Angeles, California. Virtual, doesn't matter where you're at. Obviously, that's going to be streaming on my YouTube channel. So the in-person event, which there will also be giveaways. Lewis has donated a couple surprises that I'm going to be giving away. I'm going to be giving away more stuff in person. Nothing the value of a trailer, guys. So it's just more little things, but cool stuff. But yeah, it was a long talk there on the event, but hopefully
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, and it's you're going to see more of these. You'll see me start to pick up as well. I tend to increase in frequency of posting about it as we get closer to date because people have short attention spans. But we've got a lot of people in the comments here. Where do I find this jobber alternative? That's an excellent question. That's show up to the event on February 24th, the virtual event there. He wants to win a raffle. Absolutely. I think Elias was saying he needs SEO work. Hit me up. Happy to help. Someone using Workies, be a beta for the software launch. So what's the best way for people to get in touch? So we're getting closer to the event.
Obviously, you can get more information when we go live on my YouTube channel, but this link has the RSVP for the virtual, and it has the RSVP, which is an orange button for the in-person. There's 2 RSVPs. Do not RSVP to the orange if you're not coming in person. So just read that website. It has all the information that you guys need.
So I've got the link up here. To win the trailer, you actually have to show up to the live event, and we're going to do a raffle there. Kevin has to
live virtual. So long as you come to the live virtual event, guys, anybody's eligible. You do not need to come in person.
Awesome. Let's see. We got a couple fires. Someone said, "What's chilly to you?" I said the same thing live. Compared to what?
It's going to be. There's going to be no snow, no rain. It's going to be 50s. I know, guys. I know you people in the Midwest and the East Coast are laughing at me. I have adapted, okay? I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, but I moved out here 18 years ago, so I'm a sissy now. But
guess how cold it was. Guess how cold it was yesterday for me here. I'm just actually trying to do the conversion. It was minus 24 Celsius, which is actually pretty close to minus 24 Fahrenheit because I think they converge.
Minus 24.
It was minus 11 Fahrenheit here yesterday.
Oh, god damn.
It's chilly.
Yeah.
Chilly.
I used to go snowboarding in Colorado. I remember that.
Kevin Hess says, wish he could make it in person. Would love the collaboration. Kevin's an awesome guy. If you guys haven't seen, he's got a cool customer service training as well. So, Andrew, let's dive into... I've started a couple comments, which we'll come back to here. One of them is, what's your biggest hurdle? And then I believe Hunter asked, why are the... Actually, this is a good one right now. How are the new guys' solo operations going to be a better trial prospects than the big companies running millions of dollars a year? They aren't busy like the big companies, so they won't use all the features. I imagine you probably just don't want to break their operation down.
Correct. That is simple answer. First of all of the features that we want to build out by July will not be implemented. So all of the awesome sauce, which I'll talk about at the event, will not be done until July. But the biggest thing is I don't want to break somebody's operation when they have employees out in the field and text messaging with customers and getting phone calls and sending invoices and estimates and schedule, yada, 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 yada. We need those people who, what we call in the tech industry, early adopters, people who are willing to test because they like seeing new software. They like being a part of new things. They want the new tech. I don't want to break down somebody's operation because we are going to be bug testing up until July. So from March until July, we'll be straight beta. We're only letting in people who are willing to be early adopters.
I love it. I love it. So let's get into a little bit of background. Now that we've kind of got the hype out there, I imagine there's some people listening, tuning in, who don't know who Andrew is or why the heck we should even be paying attention to you. Are you just another hack that's going to sell us something? Maybe give us a little bit of background from the start, Andrew, on who you are, what you've done, where you've come from. Take us on whatever path you want to go.
Okay. Here comes the long version. No, I'm just kidding. Here comes the short to medium. So long story short, I fell into junk removal. I've been a software engineer since I was 10. Not even kidding. I picked up a TI-83 before I even got into middle school, when you're supposed to get a TI-83 calculator and you could build assembly software on there using like TI basic assembly language. It was very simple. And I'd build rock, paper, scissors games. Point being, I've been a software engineer my entire life. I was working on a travel app to travel the world with your friends. Raised a couple $100,000 right before COVID hit. The investors were like basically wanted their money back. And I was like, shit, I can't give you guys your money back. COVID will go away. 3 months go by. The investors are like, what's going on? When are we going to launch? And it was the same repetitive thing over and over. I kept telling the investors, I don't know. I felt like a broken record because I'm burning the money with me and my team to build the software. And 6 months go by. I'm like, when? I don't know. And it was getting so frustrating because they kept asking me as if I was Mr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci. So it got to the point at 1 year, I paid the team, I paid myself. We can't launch. 1 year in, we're still in lockdown. And I was to a point where I had a new kid on the way, my son. He's now 3. And I was down to like my last $5,000. And I was freaking out because not only was a travel app experimental, it was like I had to hope that it was going to sell. And I was like, oh my God, I have 2 options. Try to raise more money, which is going to be insanely hard during this condition, or go get a programming job. I did not want to. I was burnt out from coding my own app. I don't look like an engineer, but I am. I've been programming my entire life. I didn't want to pick up a programming job and start doing algorithm tests because I knew I was rusty with the algo test. All these new FANG companies, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, it's called FANG. If you get into one of the top guys, it's like a guaranteed over 6 figures, 150 if you're a senior, 250 a year plus stock options. But I probably wouldn't have passed those tests. So I would have probably had to have got a lower 6-figure job, but I didn't want to clock in and program for somebody else. And my friend was like, hey, Andrew, you can make $1,000 a day picking up trash. And I was like, bull crap. I looked it up, did the classic YouTube search, and I was like, oh my God, I saw all the $1,000 a day videos, probably like everybody else does, right? I went all in because I was like, you know what? I can maybe even build this into a business. I don't have to be on the truck forever. My friend was like, you can get multiple trucks. He's like, one truck could do easily 20, 30,000 a month. The plan was to launch 20 trucks. And that's how I found junk removal. So that's the backstory on how I fell into it. My intentions were to build it, have it run itself, and then go back to Gypsy, my travel app. That was the intentions. I'm known on YouTube. If you guys find me, if you just type in junk removal millionaire or something, I'm known as the Google ads guy because I scaled my Google ads fast. Started spending $200 a day, $500 a day, $1,000 a day within the first half a year. Within the first 2 months, I was already spending $200 a day. I got to my second location really fast, purely off Google ads, just running straight off Google ads. My highest month I spent was $30,000 in 1 month on Google ads. My first year, I spent $250,000 on Google ads, $236,000 in Google ads, $60,000 on local service ads, and brought in $1,059,000. I'm also the only person to show my tax returns because I just sold my company. So I showed my tax returns and I became known as the Google ads guy. So I get lots of people who hit me up for Google ads. And 1 year into my junk removal journey, it hit me. I remember I was at the steam room. I was steaming and I was just, that's kind of where I go to meditate. And I was stressing about, do I go back to Gypsy now? My team is waiting for me. How do I make this transition to leave junk? Do I sell the company? Because I have to go back to my passion project. My passion project was the travel app, but it was slowly fading away. I was having imposter syndrome. Is this going to work? Am I good enough? And then it hit me. I remember the moment. I have my phone in the steam room. I always bring my phone in the steam room. Probably the shittiest way to meditate is have your phone next to you, but just in case, because of junk removal, phone calls and just people on the truck. And yes, the phones work with the waterproof rating. They work fine in the steam room. It's pretty crazy. I got a message and I pulled up the app and I remember going, this is driving me crazy, this app. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I can build something better because I've been complaining for forever about all the field service management tools. And I was like, oh my God, this is a more guaranteed. Not only do I have founder market fit, meaning I have lived the problem. Most investors and venture capital firms and people who invest in you, they want founder market fit. They want to know that the founder is experiencing the problem and the founder wants to make the solution. That is usually the best way to get investors' attention, that you are living the problem. And I am living the problem. That was about a little over a year ago. Yeah, that is the medium version of the story of how I got into junk removal, made $1 million my first year in gross sales. I finally made the decision to sell the company and finally go into dispatch mode full time.
Dispatch. I love it. So I always find this interesting, right? You had the idea and then what happened? You seem like someone who just dives right in and takes action, but where did it go from there?
So I immediately made the decision that was what I was going to do. However, I was doing really well in junk removal. My highest month from 2 trucks running full-time 7 days a week, 120-ish grand. I remember after the tips for that month, the tips earned, I think the total was almost 140 grand after the tips. My guys make tons in tips. I think that month was 10 $12,000 in tips that month. Yeah. So I made the decision mentally, like my gears have switched. The switch is flipped,
Yep.
right? Gypsy was gone. This is what I'm going to do. But I struggled for the last year of making it happen because junk removal was consuming me. You can't run a junk removal business with 2 trucks. I had 8 employees, and then I had my call center with my call agents. It was impossible for me to I can't multitask. I can't run a $1 million a year in gross sales junk business and build software. So August is when I made the decision to start selling the company. I wasn't able to sell it until December. It was a process, especially when you're a young business. And I was only 2 years in with only 1 year of tax returns. So you're not going to be able to get the amount that you want. And I was trying to juggle the two. We didn't technically start going full time until I got my team running in like November. So the fact that we're going to have software comparable to all of the competitors out there that we built in 3 months is ludicrous. Just to wait until July when we have, all that programming in for like a good solid 7, 6, 10 months or something. So yeah, I made the decision a while ago, but it wasn't until August that I listed the company, and it took until December 15th. December 15th was the day I was like, yes, because, running payroll, dealing with just problems, employees, pissed off customers, just running a business.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Andrew showed me some of the back end already. It's really cool, guys. There's some fun stuff there. You guys are going to be excited. He'll have more to roll out on the actual event here in about 23 days. So I'm gonna.
Wow.
23 days. It's coming up quick, man.
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot here. Someone said if you were to start another junk removal company, how long would you have to wait to do so? I'm assuming that's based on the fact that you sold the company.
Yep. I did sign a non-compete. It was an aggressive non-compete, 5 years.
That is aggressive, but Dispatch will be.
But yeah, and the reason it's 5 years is because he knows he was buying it from me, so he probably thinks like, this could start one up easily again. And I didn't have a problem doing that because I know that I'm not going to start another junk removal company anytime soon. In order for me to bring you a good product, I have to be fully committed to Dispatch. I'm not Elon Musk. But the thing is Elon Musk built one company up, and then he's the CEO making high-level decisions. He has enough money to make people do the things. So like once you get to that level, like once Dispatch is just running and I've got like 50 employees and I'm a CEO and I have tons of money and capital, you could start another company. But at this point in time, yeah, I'm fully committed to this.
Do you go to trade shows? If so, which ones?
No, I've actually.
There's not a lot for junk removal, actually.
Yeah, I've never done any trade shows I've never done any networking at all in junk removal. I never did, what everybody else does in the beginning, like what Matt and Jojo talk about, BNI, Chamber of Commerce, in-person sales, networking. I live in Los Angeles County, 11 million people. I was able to survive solely off Google Ads.
Crazy. What worked best? This segues well. Local service ads or Google Ads? I'm actually curious because we find LSA works a lot better in rural areas. So I'm curious your take.
So here's the thing that I've noticed about LSA recently. Google Ads 100% work better for me. LSA did convert though, for sure. But Google Ads, I got more search volume. I got more clicks. I got more calls, a lot more than LSA. But LSA was great. But I did notice my target conversion on Google Ads stayed at $55. Since I started up until 2 years and 4 months, I checked, the last 30 days, my average conversion rate on Google Ads for a phone call or an email lead is $52 and change. Google local services has been going up, and a lot of people are hitting me up. Andrew, my local service calls are $60, $70. I was paying up to $90 for a local service call. And I think it's because people give up on the Google ads and they go to local services. I think more people are now bidding on local services because it's easier. And a lot of people are giving up on the Google ads, which, that's an opportunity if you think about it. But
so what I'll say from the advertising side is with local service ads, it's much easier for the rate to go up when it becomes more competitive. Google ads, you can play around with it a bit more. LSA is a lot more just standard. This is what you're going to get. So it still works really well in low population areas or areas like under 20, 50 competitors. In LA though, crazy. So not surprising that you were at $90.
Up to $90 because obviously I have maximized phone call set, right? I put an insane weekly budget. I put like a $10,000 weekly budget. And I put maximized clicks. So when I was using LSA aggressively, it was averaging, I think I remember seeing like $85 a phone call.
Makes sense.
It's crazy. But, of course, you can set a limit of what you're willing to pay.
Love it. Love it. Can you attach a link to Dispatch?
There is no link yet because I don't want you guys to see the website. There's an announcement with Dispatch that's going to be pretty exciting. But all of the information you will get at the live event. And if you guys miss the live event, it will still be on my YouTube and all that stuff.
Someone asked if it's being recorded. This is recorded. It'll be live it'll stay in the Facebook groups. It'll be on YouTube as well. Andrew's going to take it and chop it up on his YouTube. It'll be on my podcast as well after.
I love the way he OG said it. OG, is this being taped?
Being taped. Yeah, we got a real rolling in the background.
Yep.
Kevin says, I had a rep from House Call Pro call me. I told him no thanks. I'm waiting for Dispatch. I love it.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. By the way, Kevin, I did get your message. I just fell asleep. But yes, thank you, Kevin.
I love it. I love it. Sounds like this can be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to reiterate for those that are on now, we've got a few less people, but make sure you sign up for the link. It's in the comments in most of these places that we're sharing it. We'll make sure it's in the comments once we get off, but there is a link to sign up for the live event at 12 noon Pacific time on February 24th. So make sure you're there or be square, because you will not be able to win a $10,000 dump trailer, a $5,000 website, and Matt Fitch is giving away $5,000 in marketing materials. So make sure that you sign up for that to get notified when all that happens. Andrew, let's talk about profits. You alluded to that a little bit, and I know that there's been some talk about profits. You talked about, one mil plus in gross, but I see people in the groups and I've gotten messages, oh, is he the real deal? Is he just another guru, trying to make money off the junk groups? I have my opinions on that. Let's talk about profits. So it's just out there on the airways for people.
So at the end of the day, my take home was about 20% profit from the 1.1 million. So 1,059,000 my first year. My second year was just barely over $1 million. And I took a little less because I hired an operations manager that year to try to make my business more sellable. But my profits are so low because workers' compensation. And I would say some months were even 15%. But you got to remember, I have an entire call center. I'm off the truck completely. I only have employees run it. I'm running Google ads aggressively. As the years go by, I'm compounding clients. Like, I'm still getting all these clients. So my repeat referrals are slowly stacking. Over time, things will get better. But yeah, I was still spending, like my second year, I still spent close to $300,000 on ads. Maybe I forget the exact amount. I didn't spend as much on LSA. I still have to do my taxes for 2023. I did a rough mock-up, like just going through all but I have to do the final version. So I don't know my 2023 to the T, but it was just over $1 million in sales, and I still spent like $250,000 in ads. But workers' comp and payroll taxes are a biatch out here in California. It's expensive. In short, the 1.59, I took about 200 grand, a little over 200 grand in profit. That's just the profit. That is not after Uncle Sam, right? Still got to pay Uncle Sam. If I were to start over and do this all over again and have both feet in junk removal and not 1 foot out because of software, if I did it properly, I should have still been on the truck. A lot of guys like out there, like who has a multi-truck operation, like Russ Berry, for example, or even Ricardo, he doesn't have multi-truck, but they're still on the truck. They're actively involved. They are the ops manager. They're also a part-time laborer because you might as well. If I would have done that, I would have made $250,000 or $300,000 because I could have been actively like reselling and scrapping more often and really just being more involved. But I was completely hands off, which hurts the company. And it's actually very impressive to me that I was so off the company that I still made that kind of money, because I had call agents running it. I wasn't even really monitoring my call agents because they have been trained pretty well, but I was pretty sloppy around the edges because I was trying to get out of the business and really just make it run itself. With that being said, I made 200. I could have made it 300 for sure. I know Russ Burry, he said he sold 90,000 in resale last year.
Yeah,
just in resale. That's insane. Just in resale. I hope that answers your question.
I was going to ask what you would do differently. I think that's a pretty big one. It sounds like is stay, fully committed until you build it to a good momentum.
You do not need a manager until you're at 3 trucks, and you should still actually you should be ops manager if the 3 trucks are in your driving distance of area. Like if you open up a new location, another state, that's different. You can get off the truck, but you should still stay very actively involved. Keep your eyes on everything. Try to resell, check on the crews, maybe help out here and there on bigger projects. But I was completely out. Like, it's been running itself sell for a year. Just 6 months ago is when I got an ops manager to make the business sellable. I took a huge pay cut that cost me $6,000 a month, a massive pay cut, because I was trying to make the business sellable and it took forever to sell. I could have saved that money, you know?
Love it. Let's see here. We've got someone saying they made 93K, wrote off 50, made 43, paying 9K. I do most of the work, pay cash, because I don't need to help that often.
That's actually really good. I mean, considering you just did it by yourself, you did almost 6 figures gross. So that's a good job, man. Facebook user, it says.
Facebook user, yeah.
Facebook user.
Andrew, let's tease a little bit on dispatch. I didn't prep you for this, but what's one thing that you can drop before the event that we can talk about dispatch that gets people excited?
This is something I can talk about that I'm really excited about. Some companies are trying to do this. They're just not doing it right. So it's not like some secret, but I'm going to do it correctly, is integrated marketing tools. It's very frustrating that I can't remarket to my 5,000 customers in my database, being able to remarket and text message them, or you send blasts, send SMS blasts and text message blasts and postcards, put them on sequences similar to Go High Level. Imagine you have 5,000 customers, 1,000 customers in your database. And imagine from day one, if they were put onto a sequence means just a set of follow-ups over the course of a year that it just does automatically. And you can customize it to do text messages, emails, voicemail drops, postcards. So you can say in 3 months, send this message. In 6 months, send a postcard. In 9 months, send another postcard. In 12 months, send a disc. You could configure it however you want. From the minute you hang up on the phone with them, they're put on that sequence if you use our phone call system. So as soon as you hang up, click, it's done. Now, if it's a client. If it's a lead, you can have them on a different sequence. So maybe they were a price shopper and you're like, oh, I can't save them as a client or a job. Well, you can hang up and save them as a lead, and it automatically puts them onto a lead sequence, which it'll follow up with them immediately the next day. Hey, Stacy, we just spoke yesterday. This is Lewis. Did you find anybody to help you with that junk removal? I'm in the area. I can give you 5% off. And this shit just happens automatically. So integrated marketing tools is one feature that most FSMs are not getting right. And it's because it's too complicated. The thing is this software needs to be easy to use. And it's frustrating. Even for me as a tech user, I had to export my contacts, go put them into MailChimp, put it into Chirp for text message marketing. And even if you wanted to use their integrated marketing tools, it's like, okay, you can just do one blast. Okay, fine. But what about like sequences and follow-ups and all this stuff? So that's one thing that I'm really excited about, is our integrated marketing tools, and it's going to be easy to use. And that's just a taste, of one thing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, even you or the user can go in and configure it and set up your sequence flow that you think they should use. So maybe you're like, leads should get touched. They should be messaged the next day immediately. If they don't respond, 7 days. If they don't respond, 30 days. If they don't respond, 90 days. And then you're like, okay, let's do a sequence for a client where you just close the job. Follow up in 3 months and send this promo, and send an email and send a text. In 60 days, send another email promo. In 90, in junk removal, that might be too much, but in cleaning, can you imagine? And then in 180 days, send a postcard. And this shit you just put a little bit of credits in your account and it just does it, just sends it all off. You don't do anything. From the minute you save the client into your system, set it and forget it.
There's a lot of power in that.
There's a lot of power in our—
just replace the person on your team, or not have to hire another person.
Yep. So remarketing, in short.
Remarketing. That's a big deal. There's people sleep on that or don't even know that it's possible. And
most people, exactly. They don't even think about, like, I can put them on a 1 year remarket flow. I can put my leads that I didn't close onto a remarketing campaign. Like, you don't even think that you can do this. Just real quick before I get off this, I did 2,500 jobs my first year, 2,500 clients. They could have been on a remarketing campaign for this second year, but I didn't do that right away. What about the other 3,000 phone calls I didn't close? You hang up, you lose that price shopper. But if you're using our phone call system, imagine those other 3,000 phone calls that I didn't close. They were put onto a lead sequence, and they, half of them, 70% of them might have said, no, I'm good, but you might still have closed more of those leads. It was just like 3,000 of lost phone calls that I could have followed up with.
It's huge. It's huge. Remarketing alone is a reason to get dispatch. Kevin Hess actually talks about this a lot. They knew that, they were going after lifetime value of the client, 5K lifetime value.
And that helps with LTV tremendously. You'll get LTV out of it, repeats, referrals, LTV out of your customers. The problem with Go High Level, it's another tool that costs $100 a month, and it's complicated. It's frustrating. My software is intended for somebody who hates software to be able to like just kind of figure out, okay, add this action. Okay, cool. And big buttons, simple to use.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. Any more questions in the chat? I think we actually missed one. What was your biggest hurdle going from one truck to getting it full time for us smaller guys?
It's always going to start with population. If you are in a smaller population area, it's just naturally going to be harder because the search volume on Google Ads just isn't there. I get a lot of phone calls, and people live in these little towns with 50,000 people. Now, if they're willing to expand their radius and they tell me, they're like, oh, my next biggest city is an hour out and that has 500,000, you're going to struggle to get it. You are. And I'm not saying that in a 100K population, if you get commercial contracts, if you network in person and you do yard signs and you rock your 100,000 neighborhood, you can do great. Especially, you probably have to focus on commercial contracts. But to get it running full time, you're going to have to put in different kind of work than Google Ads. You will not be able to rely on Google Ads like I did. So this really starts with population first. Let's just say population isn't the problem and you're doing all the yard signs and you're doing everything that you need to do. And, getting leads isn't the issue. The biggest hurdle is going to be employees. Absolutely dealing with employees. If it's a lead problem, you need to really assess your population and talk to people like Lewis, who can give you ideas and how to, get organic SEO. And Lewis, actually, you'll know better than me on this. When the search volume is lower for Google Ads, for example, you're just in a smaller city and people type in junk removal, I think only 28% of the clicks go to the ads. The other 80% goes to the organic results. So it's even more. You need even more incentivized that you want to try to organically rank because there's less search volume. So you want to capitalize on that because most of the search clicks will be going to the organic results and not the ads.
Yeah, when we started Integrity here locally, we're at about 100K population when it's, when school's in session, and it drops down to around 80 when everybody's home from university. But we dominated organically. We dominated online. We used Google Ads just to supplement, Facebook ads just to get our brand out there, and then lots of networking. I was cold calling contractors, getting, construction debris cleanup. Contractors were really good for us in the winter. I tell our clients this all the time. If you can do interior demo, those are going to get you through the winter, especially, here in the northern weather. Junk removal just doesn't keep going like it usually does in the summer. For small populations, for big populations as well, those are things that can add on top of even what Google Ads can get with you.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you're in a big population, definitely don't stop doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You can get more calls from Google. I don't know the number, but I remember seeing a statistic. How much percentage of the traffic volume of junk removal, for example, or any keyword, what is the number of people that click the number one Google results, organic versus ads? So like, let's say there's 100 people who search junk removal. Isn't it like 20% of people click ads? The other 80%, they go to the organic results, something drastic like that?
I know the stats for map listings, or I know what they used to be. 80% in the top one, and then it was out of like, I'd have to look at this. I'm gonna have to brush it up before I go on air, and put my name behind it.
But it is drastic.
It is drastic, and it changes per market. In some markets, I was just looking at a market yesterday. There were 10 ad results before you even got down to the maps.
I know, it's ridiculous now too, and it's kind of crazy that even with that many ads, people still know to go look at the organic results.
Yeah. But ads, if you're not running ads in certain markets, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Even if SEO is fantastic, you've got to be running ads to be there. You've got to be showing up in the Google, the maps. We just implemented tracking for all our clients, and it's just rolling out to our whole client base. But we can see exactly where calls come from. And so Bing and DuckDuckGo are popping up. And so if you don't have your Bing listing up, if you don't have that submitted to the search engines for Bing, your website and whatnot, you're missing out on traffic. People use those search engines. Most studies say 90% plus that Google has of the search engine market. I think it's less than that. So if you're not everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, and I never touched DuckDuckGo or Bing yet either. So I was just on Google. I mean, I know people are starting to get more into Bing ads too now. Like Bing ads are actually working out because the whole.
And if you're not. Yeah, exactly. Bing is big. Bing and Google are also connected. You can actually set up your Bing listing by connecting it to your Google listing. So they're friendly in that way. There's a whole path we could go down with Bing and Google and their outward corporate fights, but they actually work together in the back end. So get on Bing, get on Yelp, get on the aggregators. That's a big one too. Yelp, I was just talking to a demolition company in Texas. Hometown Demolition Contractors is a fantastic one. They have Hometown Dumpster Rental as well. Get on those, and you can actually pay. Hometown Demolition, I believe it's still $600 a month for their top level.
I've never even heard of that, Hometown Demolition.
Yeah, you get some good leads through there. I know many guys who get fantastic leads for demolition, specifically. But in talking to me, you'll get to know I love demolition. Junk removal is awesome. Hoarder cleanouts, all of that. But demolition is an amazing way to get in with commercial contracts too. Mall demos, cleaning out kiosks, all that stuff. It goes very well with some of those bigger clients that you want to be getting.
Yep. And in short, I guess Facebook user, if you're in a small town, the biggest hurdle is going to be leads. So, definitely just do everything Lewis said. In a big town, when leads, if you're able to get leads and you're doing good with leads, it's always employees, finding good quality employees and building culture and just all that stuff. And yeah, I hope that helps.
I love it, man. I think we got through a lot of what I wanted to chat about today.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be the last time we chat before the live.
I know, right?
Virtual. So we'll save some stuff there. I'm sure we'll think of it later. I think comments have pretty well died down. Guys,
Yep.
Appreciate you showing up. We're pumped for it. I can see some people in the comments are pumped for it, but you got to be there or you're going to be square. Dispatch is launching on February 24th, 12 o'clock noon Pacific time. And if you show up live, you will be eligible to win a 10K dump trailer, a 5K website, and 5K in marketing materials. Matt Fitch is supplying the marketing materials. Louis Vandervalk, myself, is supplying the website, and Andrew Thompson with Dispatch is supplying the trailer. So it's going to be an exciting time. And then Andrew has a in-person event at 5 o'clock Pacific time, the 24th as well. Jump into the comments. The link will be there to register. Excited to see you guys there. This is just the beginning. You'll be seeing more of us in the groups on the interwebs as we lead up to the event. So anything you want to say before we jump off, Andrew?
On the interwebs.
We're going to be all over the interwebs.
On the interwebs. I think that's it. This was great, Lewis. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you. And if you have questions, check out my YouTube at Andrew Jedi on YouTube. Go subscribe so you can see the streaming event and check the link. You can go RSVP at the link in the comments. And I hope to see you guys there. And good luck to winning one of the items. Oh, I do want to end with this. Success is often covered in dirt, but so was gold at one point. Toodles! Let's tell you my story real quick. I've always been a software engineer my entire life. I started programming when I was 10 years old, but I started with HTML on AOL 3.0, and they would teach you basic HTML tags. So I was learning this shit at 10 or 11 years old. Then I just slowly progressed and started building more websites, learning PHP, learning databases like MySQL and all that stuff. The last app that I was working on was a travel app. I raised $150,000 from investors, and that was actually right before COVID hit. It was a travel app meant to travel with friends across the world, the globe, and they didn't even want you to hang out with your family. I kept telling the investors, it's gotta go away someday. I have the app semi-ready to go. We wanted to start doing beta testing, but nobody wanted to fly, let alone pay for this new experimental travel app that I was trying to show to the world. Me and my lady had our second kid, newborn, and we're burning down to our last few $1,000s. And it's getting to a point where I'm like, we need money now. So one of my friends I was talking to, he's like, dude, I used to do junk removal. I looked into it, I Googled it, I found Sonoma Strong, $1,000 a day, Steve Conroy, $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, and I was like, $1,000 a day. Started with Thumbtack, started with Craigslist, got to Google Ads probably by month one or like the end of month one, month two, I think. Went from 200 a day to 500 a day to 1,000 a day. From there, it's just been incredible. This is a great industry. If you're stuck and you need to figure out how to make some extra money, you can grow this into a very profitable business. You can do very well for yourself. I'm doing very well for myself. It takes a lot of work outside of the labor part, the marketing part, the hiring part. Everything is hard. It has potential. It is a very easy-ish, predictable path to make money. The service industry is so much easier to get into because it requires just your time, and everybody's gonna need this service, okay? You trade your time for money. It doesn't matter if it's landscaping, moving, junk removal. There are so many home services that you can get into that don't require a skill. People need this home service. So getting into the services business is a very safe, predictable, slow growth path, but very doable. That is the beautiful thing about junk removal. So guys, if you want to check out the course and you want your A to Z on how to build a junk removal business, check it out in the link below.